Hey guys, so this is the first time I'm doing this. We're going to start there with the disclaimer. And let's see, I already got problem number one, which is position of the camera. So this is literally my first time going live on my YouTube channel and my first time doing this segment that we are going to do. So, if you don't know who I am Akil Thompkins-Robinson. I am the founder of Girl Get Visible, and what I do, and one of the things that I do, which we'll be talking lots about, is I help women to get out there, get found online, and get their businesses to grow via visibility, via SEO, via content. So one of the things, if you follow my channel, hopefully you're here if you follow my channel, or you follow it now, because I just told all my friends that I'm going to be going live on YouTube. I know once the itch as soon as I start talking, right? I told my friends I'm going to be going live on YouTube to play and color my hair and talk about business. So if you follow me for a while, like 2, maybe even 3 years now, I used to do a segment called Pin Curl Conversations. And then I started getting my hair crocheted, and I stopped doing pin curl conversations. I used to do pin curls, so every night I would have to curl up my hair. You know how women like to roll up our hair and stuff. And so I would go live and I would chat with you guys while I did the pin curl conversations. So I started getting crochets, didn't need the pin curl anymore, and so of course I stopped. And then here comes along a little old pandemic. I'm going to position this a little bit better. First time doing everything means something could go wrong. And I got this little stand with a little light on the back. So, yeah, I got a whole little stand. Let me try to put the light off. The stand does not help that much. Alright, I'll probably turn the light off too because you guys are going to see what I'm doing. And there's like a horrible glare from the bathroom window here. Let me try. Not really much adjustment I can do to that. Alright, so, like I was saying, I used to do this pin curl conversations where I would do my hair and talk to you guys about business-related things. And we'd learn about hair and business because, you know, one thing, especially black women, what we do is our hair. And we need to be getting better at business, so that's why I put the two together, right? And maximizing the time because, you know, it takes a lot of time to do hair. And so then I stopped. And then came along the pandemic, and a lot of folks still on lockdown. I think we're technically coming out of lockdown, but I'm not coming out of lockdown. I've been home, going to continue to be home, and that also means my hair. And if you guys cannot tell, which you will tell very soon, I've got a ton of hair. And even worse, if you guys can tell from here, I've got a ton of gray hair. So my hair is like a salt and pepper, gray, black. Normally it's red, you see there, or reddish. So that is the hair color we'd like to have. I call myself an unnatural redhead. But you see right now, thanks to no crochet and pandemic, this is what we got. So about 2 years ago when I started doing the crochet, I also started growing out my color. Not necessarily on purpose, like I still want the color, but if I was getting crochet, it didn't make sense to also chemically treat my hair. I also started at the same time really learning about my natural hair pattern. I'm a natural hair girl, but I'm not a natural hair girl. I'm just like, you know, don't want to put chemicals on it, but I would get it pressed and I would get it curled and I would get all the things. And so I never really like played with my natural hair but so much. So good old pandemic, it has got us doing all the things that we normally wouldn't do, never done, all that other good stuff. So here I am today. I just freshly washed my hair. I got all the products just like they do on the YouTube channels. And that's the other thing. So many YouTubers, I gotta like create a list. So many of you guys helped me so far. Like we're doing the twist out, we're finding products. And my hair is like, I still don't exactly know what it is, but it's like a 3C, 3B. This is like literally what my hair, and it does not like afro up. It's literally just, and this is not thick. You guys will see soon. I actually made these kind of loose so it could dry a little bit better, but they're not that, like my hair is just not thick hair, so it's not like a 4C or a 4B. I don't even think it's a full 4A. Hey, how you doing? It is, I think closer to like a 3C or 3B. I'm not really that good at that stuff. So with that in mind, so you guys know as we're doing the hair, so I've been watching all the YouTube videos, trying to figure out how to do my natural hair. Recently, someone suggested to me a color that is not a permanent color. So I'm going to be using the Overtone. Can you guys see it? It's still coming out right. I hope so. I'm going to be using the Overtone Pink for Brown Hair. And they suggested this color, which is like a temporary color, but not like, I did try, which I have this thing here. I did try this. I tried, which I like, Gemini Naturals Get Hued. I tried this. You guys see, I like cleared this out. I tried this. The only thing I don't like, I loved it when it was on, but you literally have to do it every time you do your hair. So I wanted something just a little bit more permanent, but still not permanent because I'm not really trying to chemically treat my hair right now. So that led me to this, which is like a temporary, it's supposed to be a deep conditioner that penetrates the shafts and all this other good stuff. So my girlfriend told me about this. It took forever for them to get the right colors back in stock. That was my first thing, is that it probably only took a month for them to start getting reds back in stock, and now that they do, I got two samples. I got this one and I got this color. This is Extreme Red. And Extreme Red, like I tried them, I'll show you guys in a minute where I tested that. Extreme Red was a little bit orangey for me, so I did not stick with the Extreme Red. So I'm going to stick with the pink for brown. And you probably see me do a couple of different colors over the next couple of months as I try out different ones. So, first thing I did, they want you to do it on clean hair. It could be clean wet hair or clean dry hair. I found that dry hair was better than wet hair because I did some tests. And I'll show you guys the testing section. There's like a testing section in the back of my head. So, what I did this morning was I washed my hair with this, which is what I've been washing my hair with. I like that it does make it very, it says easy on the curls. It does make it very easy on the curls. It is pretty hydrating and stuff like that. This is without conditioner. So I did not condition my hair because this is the conditioner, right? Or I don't know if I told you that, but this is a deep conditioner. So this is the conditioner. So all I did was put in the shampoo. And then my hair dries, at least the outside dries pretty fast, and the inside takes a little bit longer, of course. So I then comb through it with my wide tooth comb, which you guys will see me use a lot. I have one of these, like, brush thingies. My hair's not for this. It's really not. This is, one-way trip to getting tangled in my head. So we don't use that too much. I do own it in case I need it, but usually about this. And I start at the ends and bring my way up, and I finger, like, separate some of the big clumps and stuff like that. And then I put it in these things because I was really getting a whole Shaka Khan look going on. Not that I don't love Shaka Khan's look, but it did not look like a good Shaka Khan. It's like a bad Shaka Khan day. And then I put in these big twists. And like I said, I purposely, like, started to twist down a little bit because I didn't want it tight up on the scalp because I wanted some air to get in there. So that's all I've done to it so far this morning. What I'm going to do is slowly take one at a time, because I think that's safest, and start coloring each section a little bit separately, just so it won't be like all over the place. I normally would wear a black shirt, but I couldn't find one, so I put on a shirt. I didn't mind if it got color on it, so don't worry if you see color flying places. It does come with gloves, so got my little gloves there, the little cheapest gloves ever, so you're going to need more than one if you ever have to do it more than once. I got a couple of clips here just to help keep my hair in the right place, and towel on the side, and I think that's it. And so what we do here in Pink Curl Conversations, I am going to start doing my hair, and then we're going to get into a little conversation. The conversation today, it's funny because I was going to talk a little bit about SEO for those who are new to me here on my live YouTube, because this is my first time going live on YouTube. You may have seen my YouTube videos. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. But I figured, I should start with something intro, and then something came up, and I'm putting on the gloves as we're talking. Then something came up with a friend of mine who recently got a little bit of faith. And he was talking about, not really looking for it. He was not looking for it, but not really looking for it, not being prepared for it, that kind of thing. And so, and I'm not going to go into his business, so don't ask. But it made me think about Girl Get Visible, getting visible online, getting visible with SEO, and how that can and should. Like, you actually want a little bit of fame with this. So I figured we would talk about that while I made my way through my hair. Oh, so before I start too much, let me show you guys. There's a mirror right here, so if you see me look up, it's because I'm looking in the mirror. Okay, this is the section we're going to start with anyway. And I know I'm just ripping it open. Don't do that. uh, so it's between this section and this section. But you guys can see just a tiny bit. I hope you can see. Just a tiny bit of my results from last week. And I'll turn off the light so you guys can see it without the glare. So those are a tiny bit of my testing section that I did last week. And I did 2 testing sections. Actually, I did 3. I did one with the extreme red that I told you guys, which is like an orangey color. One with the pink for brown hair, which is what we're doing today. And then one where I mixed the 2 of them together. Real dope. You can mix these colors together a little bit. And they've got a variety. This is not sponsored. I forgot how to say that on YouTube, right? This is not sponsored by Overtone. But they have, I'll take both sections out for you guys so you can see both. They do have a variety of colors. Lots in the red family, which is my preferred family. If you guys can see in there somewhere, you can see the orangey piece. So a lot in the red family. They have a red for brown, they have extreme red, they have magenta, they have pink. I literally chose these 2 colors because they were just out of so many colors. And they are starting to come back in stock, so if you want one, go get one now. But they were just out of so many colors. The other reason why I wanted to do this video is that I saw very few people with natural hair use these and try them out, and very few people with gray hair use these and try these out. You guys can now see without the glare. You can see literally how much gray hair I have. And no, I'm not that old. I mean, I'm older, but not that old. I've just been graying prematurely since I was like 14. So my family grays early. So I'm going to put this up over here so it stays out of the way. And so it's crazy how much I have learned from, okay, somebody sent me a message. Crazy how much I've learned from YouTube. So hopefully this helps somebody and somebody learns from me. And you can see my hair is like a pretty good, back to the light, right? Pretty good salt and pepper, black and gray hair. I probably should do these at night when there's less glare from outside. Lessons learned, right? So, and it's going to be a little bit of raking through a tiny bit because, like I said, it is not, I did not use conditioner at all. So I won't be trying to get this comb through my hair because that just feels dangerous for my hair itself. I'm going to take, so one of the things I learned in YouTube, from YouTube University, in doing my hair, other than sectioning out, was when you put in the color to use very small sections. Like, don't try to take this whole thing and just slap color on it. Now, that's when you do, like, I guess, traditional color. Although this is just conditioner, I'm going to treat it just like that. So I'm going to try to not just slap it on all haphazardly like I saw some of the people do in the videos. And then what would happen is, if your section's too big, you almost want, like, you know, so you'll be able to touch the front and the back. That's how big you want the section to be. That you would be, if I went like this, I'm hitting the front and the back. Nothing's hidden in the middle. This actually might be a little bit too big. Now I'm feeling it. But what I saw on the channels is that if your section was too big, the hair that's in the middle wasn't really getting anything. Now, this thing does not come with any tools. I don't know if I should have brought some tools, but it did come with gloves, so we're going to use my fingers. So I'm going to go back to putting the gloves on. We've sectioned out my hair pretty nicely. Alright, and I am just going to start applying it to my little section. Bad thing about these gloves is I'm so used to feeling through like how big of the section is. I can't really feel as much with the gloves. So I'm going to go thinner is better. Get as much up to the roots as I can because I am gray to the roots. And I want to cover the black hair too. I know it's just going to pop more on the gray hair. So I'm just going to take out a tiny bit like that. Other things I've learned with hair color is you should start at the bottom, which for me is weird because the bottom still has some red from when I was professionally dyeing my hair. If I was doing permanent, I would definitely go professional. So one of the other reasons why I'm not doing a professional dye, or not doing a permanent dye, is because I'm not a professional, if you guys can't tell. I do things professionally, but this ain't it. I help people get found online. My hair, not necessarily, is my professional thing to do. So if I was to color my hair, and I'm going to look in the mirror, not in the camera. If I was to color my hair, it would definitely be with a professional doing permanent color. So, and my hairdresser might be watching, so don't worry. No permanent stuff is happening here, ever. At least not at my own hands doing it. So you guys can kind of see a little bit. I have fully like covered that little section. And then I'm just going to, like I said, slowly go through each one. And I want to chat with you guys about the whole thing about fame. So one of the things we talk about in getting visible is that you want to get out there, you want to get found. And if you're lucky, you might get a little famous. So what I mean by, like, I was just had an interview this morning, and I started at the top. In the interview, we started talking a little bit about Supercent. And if you guys don't know Supercent, she is the founder of Crown Case, and she sells makeup, and she's on Instagram. She's on Instagram Live a lot. I'm sure she's on all the other channels, but like Instagram's like her main channel, and she's got a multi-million-dollar makeup brand, and she got really well. People have known her for different reasons, like you might have, it depends on what year you discovered her. If you discovered her like a year or two ago, you may have discovered her because she made like $1 million in, I think, 90 minutes or something like that, which got a lot of press. If you discovered her a few years before that, because her brand is called the Crown Case, and the brand is it's all around school supplies. So like she has like loose leaf wipes, and her makeup bag is like a little bookcase. So it's like and the crown is like a palette and stuff like that, and her makeup brushes are like pencils and paint brushes and stuff like that. So her whole kind of, I don't want to call it a niche, but her whole thing is that her stuff is like school supplies. And it's like school supplies to make you look good for your face, you know? But it's makeup, like it's straight up makeup. It is not school supplies. It's just makeup. Like she's got like a white outliner and some other stuff. So like I said, if you found out about her a few years before that, you might have found out about her because Crayola, the crayon company, Crayola actually went after her because of the name of her company, and the some of her packaging looked a lot like a box of crayons. I keep starting at the top. I'm supposed to start at the bottom, right, guys? Remind me. Start at the bottom. Every time you see my hand go up here, tell me go back down to the bottom, right? So I learned why I have to start at the bottom. One of the many YouTube videos I was looking at said that because there's heat on your scalp, like coming from your scalp, when you're putting on color, and maybe not this kind of like conditioner temporary color, but when you're putting on color, you should start at the bottom, because your the color at the top is going to like seep in faster because there's the heat from your actual head. So that's why we are starting from the bottom and working our way up, and we're supposed to, and as you can see, I keep failing at that. So this is going pretty good so far, I hope. The nerve-wracking part is you don't know if it's going good until you start washing it out, right? So, but I don't have a lot around my bathroom. That's good enough. I've got white countertops and white floors, and subway tile, which I love, but yeah, it's white. So, so far so good, at least on the not killing my bathroom front, you know. So, like I said, if you found out about her then, if you found out about her from the Crayola, and then just recently, she's actually hit $1 million a whole bunch of other times, $1 million in sales. So that's a whole bunch of other times. But if you follow her, she's pretty active on Instagram, and pretty famous, as you can see from my stories, for a number of different reasons based on what she's done. And all of them have been centered around her getting really visible. So how did she make $1 million in sales in 90 minutes? She made it because people already knew about her. They already knew about the brand. Like, she didn't wake up and say, I'm going to have a really dope Black Friday sale and everybody's going to do it. Believe me, she was making sales before that. She was getting visible and getting out there way before that. How she even started with the the company. And granted, I am not the expert on her. I just follow her. So this is the things I've learned from following her. Is that she used to, before all of that, she used to be like go on Instagram and do comedy and trying to just talk and let people into her lives, similar how I'm letting you guys in right now, right? So yes, believe me, this is part of the strategy. So she used to do these things even before really jumping into business. And then she had a couple of different ventures, and the makeup one was the winner. And so, and she still has some other ventures that are outside of makeup, but that's the one that really kind of took off and really has helped to continue. And I'm gonna say to continue to build her fame, continue to build her voice in the space. And so why I go through all this and why I mention how her getting visible helped to build her fame is that there are two ways that this happens to people. Oh, this looks really nice, guys. You see that? I'm combing through it just a little bit. The instructions don't tell me to, but you know, my mind says you got conditioner in your hair, comb through it just a tiny bit with the same wide tooth comb. I don't use anything besides a wide tooth comb on my hair. And if there's any type of resistance, I immediately take it out and start below the resistance. Just how I comb my hair, with or without conditioner. So you guys can see, a lot going on there, right? So that was just section one. I am going to rake it through a couple more times, twist it up, and use one of my clips to get it out of our way while we work on the other section. I'm going to do the bottom, all the back, and then work my way up. Because what I don't want is, I don't think this is like time release. They actually say on the package to only put it in for 10-15 minutes. When I did it last week, I did one test 10-15 minutes and one test like 40 minutes and sat under the dryer. The test with 40 minutes under the dryer did so much better. So that's what we are going to be doing today. But I know it's going to take me at least 20 minutes just to get it all in my hair because we're going slow, right? And we want to go slow, not because I'm talking to y'all, but really because I don't want to mess up my hair. Which is why I'd rather talk to y'all while I do it so I don't mess things up. Just going to clip these two up top here. I just got a ton of hair, y'all. Like, ton of hair. And no idea really what to do with it. So that's why we're here. So, what I say about the fame and visibility. So there's two ways. Either you work at it, like we work to get visible, and then our visibility and our accomplishments garner us a bit of fame. And believe me, when I say fame, I'm not talking about like you're an actor or an actress. Oh, I need like another clip. You're an actress or an actor type fame. I'm talking about fame in the sense that someone knows in your industry, in your niche, you're a known name. And not like your family or friends, someone, but like somebody could say kill Thompkins-Robsinson and folks are like, oh yeah, the girl who does SEO. That's the kind of fame we're talking about. You really don't need a whole lot more fame than that because you only need but so many customers. You only need but so many followers. People are always trying to get up to like, 100 million and all this other type of stuff. But if you sell a course or if you have like a program or you're just like local in your area, that 100 million isn't going to help you because there just aren't 100 million of your potential customers in your area. So what you need to focus on is getting your first, like how, what is this? Kelly, I forgot his last name, his first name already. He talks about the 1,000 true fans. That's really all you need. Then if you guys don't know about the, God, it's something Kelly. If you don't know about that article, I will put it in the notes on this thing. But you will see that all you need is like 1,000 true fans. And it's like 1,000 true fans. If they buy something for like $10 a year or something like that, it's like you already make, or it's like $100 a year, you already make like $1 million. But all you need is the 1,000 true fans. And so, and he is actually talking about musicians. I'm talking about in business, which is even easier to get people to buy. Oh, starting at the top again, guys. You see me messing up. Which is even easier to get people to buy in business because things are generally like more than $100 or around $100. So back to the whole, we get visible either by first getting visible, which will garner us a little bit of fame, or something happens. Whatever it is, I'm going to just assume that something is good. something happens and you're thrown into the spotlight, and that gets you some fame a different way, which is what kind of happened to my friend. So something happens to you, and now you've got people who know you, people who follow you, people who are interested in what you say, and then you're like, okay, what do I do with this? Is this, and sometimes it gets people nervous. Is this something I can profit off of, which is not a bad thought. Like fame and profiting off of fame, again, assuming it's good fame and assuming it's good profit and nice and legal, is not a bad thing. I think in society, we tend to make people think it's a bad thing, which tends to make people shy away. And then later on, hold on, I've like lost a section of hair here. That section, okay. When I put them all in the same clip, I lose what ends where, right? Thick hair problems. Losing where the hair should and should not be. This is definitely going to get much more difficult in the middle of my head. I can already see that. Because in the back of my head, I'm already a little confused. The front of my hair, I realize, I'm sure this is for everybody, like not just me. I'm not that special with the hair. But the front of my hair is definitely a lot less of a problem because I can really see what I'm doing. But you guys can probably see more of what I'm doing in the back than I can at this point. So if you guys want to see the back, this is what the back looks like. Don't judge my parts and all that other stuff. I see people judge it on YouTube. Don't do it. I promise by the time it all comes out, it will be fine. At least I hope, right? So, getting fame, talking about back to getting fame. Getting fame, for whatever reason, is not necessarily a bad thing. And a lot of people, make people feel almost guilty. Like, I did this, I had a post back in November. And I remember it was November because I was in India when I wrote the post, ironically. And talking about how people judge people, or people are told when they're younger, especially young girls, in the African American community. And I'm sure, because this came up when that happened, I'm sure other communities get it too. I only know one community, right? I only grew up, being me, African American, in an African American community. So if it happens in other communities, I'm glad we can all relate. I'm not saying it because it doesn't happen to other people. I'm saying it because I can only, when I talk about me growing up, I can only talk about one community, the one I was in. So, I have to give that disclaimer because I swear people were like, it happened to me too, it happens to everyone. I was like, cool, I'm glad you can relate, but I would never speak on someone else's community and someone else's, what happened to them growing up, because I only know about one person growing up. Fine. So, what we're told when we grow up, like we hear things like, oh, she thinks she's all that, or, you get good grades, or you get an award, or, silly things like you got long hair, oh, she thinks she's all that because she's got long hair. Oh, she thinks she's all that because she did this, that, and the third thing. Like, she did this thing, or she got that award. That holds back so many people. I remember, like, even being smart was not, like, the cool thing to be. And, I can go into all the reasons why I think people do that or say those kind of things to people. That's not what this talk is about, so I won't go into them. But I will say that it sticks with us when we get older, and it essentially holds us back because we're afraid. We're essentially afraid of fame. Little fame or big fame. I think I'm getting color in my shirt. Little fame or big fame. We get afraid of being recognized because we're afraid that people are going to say, she thinks she's all that. Or we're afraid that people are going to say, oh, something's wrong. And it's a lot of, it messes us up, especially when we decide we want to go into business. So we generally go into business because we found something we like to do, we found something we want to make the money, or we need to make the money. That's all the reasons why we want to go into business. Maybe we want to help people. People are always like, I want to help this community, I want to help that community. So the reason why we go into business often isn't for the fame. It isn't even for the visibility, but in order to be a success, in order to get to some of those goals, you're going to need people to know your name. You're going to need a bit of that visibility. You're going to need a bit of that success that you may have been told, oh, she thinks she's all that, and, been told that you should not have, or, you're something different if you strive for that, if you strive to be out of the box. And, like, I'll tell you guys, and this is not a growing up thing. This is what society and schools are geared for. They're pretty much geared to make you one of the number. They teach you to be like one of the number of kids in class, one of the number of kids in line. They even teach you to stand in line. How, like, psychologically a little bit crazy is that? But they teach you to be one of the number because that's what makes good employees. So when you are a good employee, you get the job, you make the money, you essentially are one of the number. Uh-oh. I don't know what happened. Okay, hopefully I'm back. I did have to just touch my screen just a tiny bit. All right. Hey, Chantel, I didn't realize that was you. How you doing? Listen to all my ramblings. Chantel is one of my work club members. I really didn't talk much about my products and services and stuff, right? I did mention Girl Get Visible, right? So if you guys follow me here, you already know. And I've got a book and a membership and a bunch of other really good things. And Chantel is one of my members. So thanks for joining me. Uh, you will be probably one of the first to see this hair color because I'll probably be live in a group about something and you will see the hair color and how it looks like, in the real world, right? So, so going back to the fame part and how we are designed, or we are trained not to stick out, not to do too much. So we're put in line, we sit amongst multiple people in class, testing is done on the curve, or yes, finalizing today's blog post. Yes, I have my folks blogging. So we're pretty much trained and ingrained that we are to be one of the many, not the one to stand out. So not ever to be the only one or the sole one, but we are to be one of the many. You think about it like thinking about crayons. Crayons don't really stick out. Even though they all have their own color, they sit in a box of 24. You never can buy, or you would not buy, go just buy like a red crayon or a yellow crayon. Even if you only need one crayon, you're forced to get the whole box. That is a example of how we are taught and trained in society, that we are not to be that one. We are not to be the only people. We are not to be the sticker outers or any of the other type of stuff. And so when we get into business, and business is all about being the one. Not the only one. I'm not going to say that. You don't have to be the only person doing what you do, but you have to be the one to stick out to your people. So, like, I do SEO. I'm not the only person that does SEO. I follow other people, like Neil Patel, who I love. I follow his videos right here on YouTube. And he talks about a lot of things about SEO. Some of the things that I also have on my channel that I talked about SEO. He probably never colored his hair. I don't think Neil Patel has any hair now I think about it. I think he's bald. Not in the old guy way. I think he like shaves his head bald. But he's never colored his hair but on YouTube. But he definitely talks about things that I would talk about because we talk about SEO. And so, when you get into business, there are people who are going to love Neil Patel because of who Neil Patel are. And then there are people, and hopefully, wait, guys, I am on the verge of losing a section of hair. And have you guys ever colored your hair and forgot a whole section? That almost just happened to us. You see this section here in the middle? It was like hanging out. That's what happened to me 2 weeks ago. I did twist. I know I'm like jumping topics. I did twist and I forgot a section. And I usually keep my twist in for like the first day or two just to kind of walk around. Well, I say usually as in the last 2 months of quarantine. I don't go out the house like that, but I ain't been out the house. So around the house, I will keep them in for a couple of days to help them dry and really get everything that they're supposed to get. And I was talking to somebody and put my hand in the back of my head, and there was a whole section that had not been touched at all. I was like, oh, who did this? I did. So now I have to make sure I always check for that middle section. And as you can see, it almost ran away again this time. Making sure I'm getting it back there. So hopefully, and I'm going to turn around in a minute. It looks like I may be at the back of my head. And I'll show you guys how much I've used so far. About maybe half the thing, because I'm going kind of deep instead of, I don't know if you guys can see how much is kind of around the sides. So, based on what I did with Gemini Naturals, because I've already done color at least once, I assumed, or I assume, that 2 ounces is going to be enough for my head. So that's why the sample, they got sample sizes for 2 ounces, is at least good for one full application. Small test and a full application. If for some reason I run out of hair, I might have orange in the front and pink in the back. Let's pray that does not happen to me, right? Because that's not really how I want my hair. I'm already going to have some dark and some light because of my gray hair. I really don't want it to be gray and orange and red. That's what we're trying to get away from. So I'm just taking this section out that we already did and running it through. I am now, you guys see the back? Tell me if there's any sections I missed. If you see like, yo, there's nothing at the top. Just going to run it through, then I'm going to comb it a little bit, and then we will start with the front. The front, I think, will be a little bit faster, too. So, back to my rant, semi-rant, about how we're told to pretty much not be visible. This color looks so good when it's wet. You guys see that? Can you guys see that? You see how it's coming out over here? Remember all the gray hair we had? Yeah, we ain't got all the gray hair. We are doing so good. You know, and if you have brown hair, I've seen mixed results on brown hair. They do have, like what we're using now is called pink for brown. So it's supposed to deposit more color onto brown hair. But I will say, and I guess we'll see when and I won't be on camera when I take it out because this has to sit for about 40 minutes. But they say 10 to 15. I will be doing 40. I will be sitting for 40 minutes and sitting under the dryer, but I will take pictures and make sure that you guys get the pictures. If you, since it's my first YouTube live, so I don't know if I can append video to it, but if you are not, I would go over to Girl Get Visible on Facebook and make sure you follow there because I will definitely put some before. I didn't really take before pictures, but I guess my life is a before picture, right? So I will put some before and after pictures for those who want to see how well the color went. So I'm just combing through a little bit. It is hitting the back of my neck, so I expect to have some red back there that I will probably have to enlist help to make sure I get off of all of me. So I'm just, you guys can't see, but I'm just kind of combing it through the root area. And it's pulling a little bit. I mean, it's not, it's like having a thick conditioner in your hair. So it's not like I know in the YouTube videos they talk about, oh, it's got a lot of slip. It doesn't have slip. It more like has like, I don't know. It's almost like, it's not like gel, but it's definitely like a very thick, like conditioning mask with not much slip. So that's why when you see the comb go through, it might look like it's a little bit of resistance. And I'm going slow too because I ain't trying to pull up my hair. Yeah, so Chantel, that's what we're trying now. We're trying this Overtone conditioning color. That's exactly what we're doing right now. And I've only used it to do a little test last week because I just got it at the recommendation of one of my sorority sisters, who's also a business owner, Exclusive Touch. She does paraphernalia, so any of my Greek watchers and listeners, X Touch, you might want to go to their site. They got some really dope new stuff too, so I just got an order from them recently. Not hair related. I like the way you can see the color during the application. Yeah, so this is not, I don't know if you were on the very beginning. This is a coloring conditioner. It is not a permanent color. So it's not like the white that goes on and bleaches and all that other type of stuff. So it's not that. It is a coloring conditioner, and it's supposed to leave deposits on your hair, which is what forms the color. And so I was saying before, like, so it won't it won't make it all one color. It will tell me, I know that much. Like, it's still going to have some tones to it, which I prefer my hair not to look like. I think one color looks fake, personally. I really just want to color the grays and at least get down to two colors. A dark red and a light red would be great for me, or enough for me. But I at least just want to get down to two colors as opposed to right now, naturally, I probably got about four. Can't wait to go on to look at this. Yes, I think so too. I think it's going to look really good when it catches the light. Okay, so I think I'm back. I hope I'm back. And I messed up my thing a little bit. Now I'm coloring my phone. I will say get a get a person to help you if you're going to try to do this live like I am. Okay, there it is. My stand. Okay, so like I was just saying, I froze again. If YouTube may not let me finish this whole application, but if you do head on over and follow me on Facebook at Girl Get Visible page, you will be able to see. Ooh, that looks pretty nice. You'll be able to see the final result. But I do want to finish up my thought about fame and where I'm going with your fame and your visibility. The end result is that it's going to happen. You kind of want it to happen, especially if you're already a business owner. You know, if you start out with the business and want the business to get visible and to be a little famous and get its little own little bit of fame, you're actually ahead of the game because you know what to do with it. You have a way to monetize it. You're getting fame for the right reasons, stuff like that. Sometimes when people have that accidental fame, they don't really know what to do with it. And it may be a little bit scary. It may be like, I don't know what it's supposed to do. I didn't want the fame, and then they have to kind of run and figure out. And most people, and y'all gonna be mad at me in a minute, most people run and sell t-shirts. Do not run and sell t-shirts. That is not the way to monetize every bit of fame with a t-shirt sales. If you want to monetize it, and especially if you want it to be sustainable, find out what is the draw, like what is the thing that people are coming to you for. And when you find out what are they coming to you for, and I know you're like, well, if I was in a paper, that's what they came to me for. But what was the thing that made that interesting to them? Find out what was the thing that made that thing interesting to them, and then start building off of that. What do they want to know? Do they want to know, like I know Chantel's on, and Chantel is a chef and does personal cooking, helps people do personal cooking and cooking at home with their families. And it's like, what's the draw? Were they drawn to it because they needed cooking at home? Were they drawn to it because, let's say, you got a little bit of fame for feeding a bunch of kids in the city of Philadelphia? Like, what is the thing that drew them to you? And then do more of that. Talk more about that. So I'll just make a whole hypothetical example for you, right? So say you donate 100 things of food to the kids in Philadelphia because of the pandemic, right? And you get some news coverage and some fame off of that you help the kids. Can you guys see the difference between what's not colored and what's colored? Like the not doing pretty good, right? And so you get some fame off of the fact that you help the kids out in the city of Philadelphia. That's literally why a lot of people do some of this stuff, so they can get some shine from it, which is perfectly fine. It's still help, right? Help is help. So you get some fame and get some coverage because of that. The next thing to do is not to sell t-shirts. It's not even to say sell more food, but apparently what people are asking for, what people are drawn to, is how do you feed more kids? And so even if I was selling food, I would be selling things that are kid-friendly meals, family meals, things that directly relate to what you get famous for. What I see a lot of people do is they go into t-shirts, or they go into, let me use this to sell my music, drop some beats, all the things. And they wonder why it doesn't resonate the way that they think it should resonate. Like there's a story of pretty well-known YouTubers. I think she had like 3 million followers or something like that, and she was in fitness. And she decided to drop some clothes. Like she decided to lend her name to a label or whatever, and to sell clothes, not fitness clothes. How crazy is that, right? And to sell clothes. And she did not do very well with sales. They were like, to have millions of followers and to have that little bit of fame, she could not get millions of dollars in sales. I don't think she could get like $1,000 or so in sales. And it was a big thing that lots of people continue to talk about, because I'm talking about it now too, right? But it was a big thing that people were talking about. And the reason why she couldn't sell wasn't herself. It had nothing to do with her. It had very little to do with the clothes. Like, it was fine. The problem was the audience didn't follow her for that. The audience, she would have been better off selling fitness videos, or she would have been better off selling direct fitness equipment. They just did not make the leap from, I'm following you on Instagram for this, and now you're selling me clothes for that. You guys understand what I'm talking about? I hope that helps. Hope that resonates. So if you are one of those folks who want to monetize and make something off of your fame, whether it's intentional fame or non-intentional fame, or whether you want to create fame, that's kind of what we do in Girl Get Visible. But if you are one of those people who get fame and aren't sure what to do with it, the first thing to do with it is to look at, why are you famous and what did they come for? What was the thing that drew them to you? Not enough to just say, hey, again, I'm famous, or people now know my name or know who I am. What is the thing that people are looking at you for? What made your story interesting to them? Even if it was on the news, you're not famous because you were on the news. You're famous because your news segment resonated with people at a certain level. So you want to be able to say, what is it that resonated with people? And take whatever it is that resonated with people and give them more of that. They might have just resonated with your voice, or maybe just resonated with the fact that you were sharing a message. Like, I'm sharing this message about fame. Maybe that's what resonates. And so, go what? You talk more about that. Now you do a workshop on it, you do a book on it, you do a whole tour on it. You don't go put it on a t-shirt, unless you said something really prolific, which, I know I did not. So, which I say that, and then my assistant's going to find some dope quotes for me of some real prolific things I said. But hopefully that makes a lot of sense for you guys. But I wanted to wrap up the pin curl conversation just in case YouTube decides that I should not be on any longer. I see you starting to freeze a little bit.